Inspiration is a strange rule in D&D, being one of the most subjective rules in the book. A lot of tables entirely ignore this rule, but today we're going to discuss why you should use this in your campaigns and some alternative ways to run this rule. For inspiration, the player's handbook states, your DM can choose to give you inspiration for a variety of reasons. Typically, DMs award it when you play out personality traits given to drawbacks presented by a flaw or bond and otherwise portray your character in a compelling way. You either have inspiration or you don't. You can't stockpile multiple inspirations for later use. Typically, inspiration will allow you to reroll one of your dice rolls. For example, if you roll an 8 to hit, you can burn an inspiration in hopes to get a better outcome. This is a strange rule because giving out inspiration is a choice, unlike a lot of the rules in D&D. For example, armor class or AC determines how hard it is to hit your character. If your AC is 10 and an enemy rolls a total of 9 to hit, that attack will not hit. This is an example of an objective ruling. There are spells and features that can affect attack rolls, but on its own, an attack roll of 9 will never hit a target with an AC of 10 or more. Most rules in D&D work this way, where A has to do B to affect C. But inspiration doesn't work this way, as it is a choice to give out and not something that is forced. So because of this, a lot of people neglect and don't utilize this rule, but you should. Getting inspiration can encourage players to roleplay more and feel more comfortable at the table, especially new players. This can give players a great reward for making the push and roleplay more. In every campaign, a player will be presented with a choice which they don't want to do, but their character would do at least once. Some players will pick an option that doesn't make sense for the character because they see that choice as purely punishment. Inspiration can change that, as it rewards the player for picking a tough choice and go with what the character wants to do or needs to do. This allows for great story directions and moments. This is done best in Never After, where Lou, playing as Pinocchio, has a choice to get some hot dogs which are obviously a trap, or he can ignore it. Lou doubles down on the character choice of Pinocchio wanting to get hot dogs for Gerard and gets trapped. This is perfect because it leads to a great storyline while being in character, and at your table you can push players to make choices like these by giving out inspiration. However, you may not give out inspiration due to not liking the ruling, so I'm going to give you a few alternative ideas. The first one comes from XP to level 3. I've linked this video in the top corner. At the start of each session, each player has an inspiration coin which they can flip to use inspiration on a roll. Throughout the session, the DM can physically flip the coin over to refresh their inspiration. This is great for forgetful DMs who don't enforce the rule due to simply focusing on other aspects of the game and forgetting about inspiration. At the table you can see the coin giving you a constant reminder. Also, I've started using this in my campaigns, which my players have loved, because it allows them to always have a choice on, is this role important enough to use my inspiration on, which leads to great character moments, story moments, and also in-game action moments. Another way to use inspiration is to use it like Bardic Inspiration. You can give out a d12 that the players can use on any roll except for damage dice. This is really fun because it means the player is always getting a better outcome than they first had, which may not happen with typical inspiration rolls. I really like this idea because it means I can personally hand out d12s, which also adds a nice fun gimmick and a reminder to the player. But just make sure you get your dice back. An alternative ruling for inspiration that I've come up with is to give players an uninspired token. This allows the player to make the DM reroll a dice. This works out really well when a DM rolls a nat 20 to hit a character, allowing them to give the uninspired token to the DM to reroll that dice. This ruling may not work for every campaign style, but for a combat heavy campaign, this can be literally life-saving. The player can use this to also save other characters at the table too, which can add nicely to the group dynamic when a player saves another player's character. So yeah, this has been everything on the inspiration topic. I really hope this gets you to use inspiration more in your games, or at least try out one of these alternative rulings. If you have any interesting inspiration rulings, please let me know in the comments. See ya and enjoy the rest of your day.